Okay, this is Get Real with Mark and Chris. My name's Chris Hill with Century 21.
Oh, you want me to introduce myself
Sure,
now?
why not?
My name's Mark Frisco, also with Century 21. But yeah, so
So this is like
What are we
this is
doing?
our inaugural performance of whatever this is supposed to be, right?
yeah, I think we're gonna get a little bit to the bottom of that today, right?
I hope so. I mean,
Cool.
we want people to listen to us and hear the things that we feel like we have a perspective.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's funny. I feel like we have real estate backgrounds, but that's not all we do, right?
Right.
I mean, we're still we have families. You're in a little different place than
Right,
me.
right.
We both live here in Southern Maryland,
Right.
which is a fantastic place to live. In my
different
opinion.
ends of the earth. Like
you think
St.
so?
Mary's and Calvert County.
Come on,
there's
it's
a
not-
whole ocean between
There's
us.
a bridge in between. It's not that big of a deal, man. Don't make it a big deal. Everybody does, but
No, it's I think we want we're going to talk a lot about real estate. We're going to do local tastings.
We didn't have that available today,
not today, but
unfortunately.
we're going to get that figured out.
Somebody stood us up. We won't say who it is.
Yeah. That's all right.
But-
We'll get it figured out. But no, I mean, I think we wanted to have a local tasting, maybe a cocktail tasting or some dish or something locally. Anytime. Just kind of share some of the localities and some of the local things that are
We
going
have
on.
amazing places here locally to
We
eat
really
and hang
do.
out and drink and do fun stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be good to promote that.
Yeah, I think so too. And so then we'll always have some real estate content things. We'll talk about the market and what's going on, which I'm sure changes all the time. Some of that'll bore some people to death. That's why we figured throwing in some of the other stuff might be exciting.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell me a little bit about you, Chris?
Okay.
Tell me some stuff I do know and some stuff I don't
Well, yeah,
know.
I've known you actually a long time.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
We go back a little ways.
Yeah, originally it was a long time ago, but back in the day, I worked for some home builders. I did some home building before I got into becoming a real estate agent, and honestly, it's one of those things. And I know you'll agree with this. It's like you finally find your passion. It took me a long time in life, but once you find it and it's something you really really enjoy doing, then you try getting better and better and better at it, right?
I'm still searching to some extent.
Are you?
I'm just
No,
kidding.
I know you're not. But so I mean that's me in a nutshell. I'm all about real estate. My kids are pretty much grown. My daughter's in college. My son's an adult. So what
only
about you?
imagine
What's
that.
Yeah, I know. So what's your story, Mark Frisco?
So, man, it's a long one. How much time you got? You want to start at the ugly beginning?
We're gonna
or
watch the clock now.
the more modest sort of things.
Can I shut him off? I need to have control to shut Mark off. Like, stop.
So, for me, I started in real estate 13 years ago. I had dropped out of college for the third time, and college frustrated
Third time's
the
a
heck out of
charm.
me. I mean, I honestly I couldn't stand college. Maybe we'll talk at some point at this. Get real. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that at some point. The secondary education system and my frustrations with
Okay.
that, right? But no, I dropped out after the third time. Came back, read like 5 books. One of those books was A Millionaire Real Estate Investor.
Yep.
So I got into real estate to be an investor. It just so happened I was a good real estate agent.
Yeah.
So I'd been doing that ever since.
That's
got a
awesome.
local real estate team just like
Yeah,
you, and
yeah.
then as far as my kids and family is concerned, so yes, I live on the other side of that bridge in southern Calvert County, just a stone's throw away from St. Mary's. And my kids, I got 2 kids, Theodore and Griffin. Theodore's 1.5, and he's the happiest kid in the
Awesome.
world.
Awesome.
And Griffin is 6, and he is wild and rambunctious and a lot
So it's
of
like
fun.
part of you in each of them. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I got a little of the sweet and a little of the salty. We call it's like a Sour Patch Kids.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool. Yeah, it's this has been a long time coming because I thought about you and I have very different perspectives, I think, on local real estate. We'll talk,
Yep.
in that regard, and I think it's because our backgrounds are a little bit different and that sort of thing. But ultimately, we do have as we're finding out more and more, we have a
Yeah.
lot of similarities. I think. That,
Yeah, we're like the same person, kind of.
And yeah,
when we started, I asked Chris if he was my dad. I was joking, by the way.
It's an age joke, isn't it? Is that like you busting on me?
No, not at all.
Let's not talk hairlines.
I was busting on me 'cause maybe I'm adopted. I don't know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, I mean, talking about local real estate, and we can get into we're going to talk about market and all that jazz. And I know that'll bore some people, but it's kind of our passion, right? So, and it's what we do, and how we know what we know is by sitting in front. I mean, before I came in here, I said I'm going to pull up the market stats and kind of know what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
How often do you look at the market stats?
I'd say at a minimum once a month.
Okay.
So like when the monthly stats
That's kind of
come
what
out
I definitely look at them.
At a minimum.
Yeah.
But it depends. I'd say probably right now with how things are changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
I'll jump in and I'll take a look. The biggest thing that I'm watching right now is inventory.
Yeah.
I'm watching how much inventory, what's the days on market. I check that almost daily. So literally I'll go in and I'll search, all right, in Calvert County, how many homes are listed today?
Yeah, I do that. Yeah.
How many sold in the last, month or so,
Yeah.
to figure out how many months of inventory we have to see where we really at in that transitioning market at the moment.
What's interesting, and I didn't want us to get all into market stats today, but I did see one that fascinated me. Like I think it's been the last 12 months, we've been over 100% of the list price to sales price ratio. Almost for 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. If you think about it, that's a long stretch.
It's been at least that. All through COVID.
Yeah, I don't even know what it was before.
101, 102%. Yeah. Average historically prior to that was probably like 96, 97% when things were down.
Just to put it out there in I hate to say layman's terms, that means what we listed a house for
and what it actually
sold for was over 100% of what we listed it for.
Correct.
That's pretty impressive, actually.
I think we'll see that number change in this month's stats.
I definitely do too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's weird because I feel like the market's moving. It's the actual pulse of the market is much different than what the numbers reflect.
Yeah,
because it's changing so fast.
I totally agree with that.
Just this weekend, we wrote 4 offers.
Yeah.
And in those, several of them we negotiated on sales price and commission, and that's something that was unheard of before. Yeah. So that's what I've been saying. Buyers need to get out there and buy because
the interest rates are still good too. That's another conversation, right?
We're using those concessions to buy down the interest rate right now. So yeah,
it's good stuff. But I didn't want to get into all the market stuff
we've kind of switched gears. See,
I know,
there it is.
I know.
It's
sorry.
the passion, right?
It is. I was just thinking about it.
We dive right into real estate.
So
we did the intro. We jumped into some of the stuff we're passionate about.
Right.
But what is this? That's the title of the show, right? What is this? What is this all about? What are we doing? What are we talking about? What are we going to be talking about? Why should people listen to 2 crazy real estate agents? By the way, you have to be crazy to be in this business, especially be good at this business.
Maybe clinically.
You have to be insane.
Maybe clinically.
Yeah, that's right.
But I guess for me, this is my mechanism to vent that passion of things that we, and also, I love Southern Maryland, right? Side note, right? I took my daughter to college a week ago, and my son, when he went to school, he put a Maryland flag up behind his bed, right? So I was joking with my daughter, and I said, "Where's your Maryland flag?" And she goes, "I don't want a Maryland flag."
Oh,
and I'm like,
those.
"Really, right?"
Yeah.
And but I'm so passionate about Southern Maryland. When people from out of the area, this area is freaking beautiful, right? Think about it. We've got farmland, we've got waterways all around us. It's really a nice place to live.
It's amazing.
And jobs are available.
Awesome.
It's a great location. So I think for me, I want to share some of those great places that we have here in Southern Maryland to go to, and some of the great people. You know what I mean? We're going to have some guests in here and some people that can talk to us, and that's what I think this show is about, right?
Yeah.
Sharing that value about Southern Maryland.
Wow, I feel like we have 2 different visions for this.
That's
thing.
okay,
you
then.
Said that, but that's cool that it's going to make it fun. So we came up with this title, "Get Real," right? So my vision is let's get real about some stuff.
Okay.
Let's have some tough conversations. I love Southern Maryland as well, and I do think that we should share some of the many things that are great about Southern Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's easy to do. We can talk about it all day long, but I want to get real about some stuff. Let's get real about some Southern Maryland stuff.
Okay.
Right? Let's dive into development is
Yeah.
always a tricky
Yeah.
topic, right?
I think that's what we
Aligns
talked
with our
about
area.
before. That's great.
Yep. And needs, why growth is important. I think that a lot of people look at the word growth and
Right.
like, oh my goodness, we're going to grow, and that's crazy and a terrible thing. But
Right.
I think
the controlled growth.
right.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, like, people have to realize that the world can't just stay stagnant.
Right.
And there is such a thing as responsible growth. That's a
Right.
buzzword. But let's talk about that stuff.
Right.
Let's talk about challenges that businesses have. Let's talk about challenges that businesses have, both in local jurisdictions and this state.
Yeah.
Because it's a tough time for that. I'm putting on another hat. As
No.
I start to march down
I'm
the path.
shifting gears, but that's a hat that
But-
we do. We share that hat as well,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things in Maryland and a lot of restrictions and policies that really
It's
aren't,
challenging.
aren't-
Let's talk
yeah.
about building, and you have a building background.
Yeah.
I know and we both know the largest builders in our area.
Right.
And these guys, I don't know that they're going to be in business
No.
a ton longer, and not because they don't want to be. It's because it's just so challenging in that world right now,
Yeah.
and I think that people don't understand what those challenges actually are.
Right.
They don't understand why things are so expensive. So let's get real with some of that stuff.
Yeah, no,
But
I'm hearing you.
let's have some fun.
No, I'm
and
with
let's
you.
talk about Southern Maryland as well. Like I said, I think we live in a beautiful place. You touched on it. Like, when people come here from out of the area, the first thing that I tell them is, hey, you're going to love it here. Most
Right.
people come here, they travel the world, and they end up staying here and retiring here, which I think is such a testament to how great our area actually is.
They
and how much,
retire here even with the tax rates that we have.
Right? Because, we're a couple hours from the beach. We're a couple hours from the
Yeah.
mountains. We're close to D.C., Baltimore City. We have
Right.
all these things at our disposal, super close by. And then we're surrounded by water. We have nice people.
Yeah.
I think
most
it's a
of
great
them.
place. Most of them.
Most
are nice.
of them, yeah.
But I think it's a great place to live.
Yeah, no, I agree. And so, I think that's it in a nutshell, though, right? Like, it's the Southern Maryland, what we love about it, and that's what and we're gonna get real.
Let's get real. Let's
Yeah.
dive into some of the issues and topics that are here in Southern Maryland and elsewhere.
Right.
Like I said, maybe we end up talking about the secondary education system.
get it.
I'd love to have that conversation.
And
by
that's
the
going to
way.
be something we have.
Yeah.
So, I think with that's where we'll wrap it up.
We can't wrap up yet. So, look, I want to make sure that you guys know where you can find us, right? So, we're going to air every Friday at noon. You can find us on thebaynet.com/podcast, or at the tab at the top that says podcast. You can also watch us live. Well, not live. Just kidding, not live. You can, not yet at least. We're not that famous yet. So you can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on the Baynet website. And you can listen to us on Spotify. Did I miss any?
Yeah, you can also listen to us on the Facebook page.
Oh, yeah, you can listen on the Facebook page as well.
And since you called me out on closing us down so earlier, if you're a local business and you're interested in showcasing with us, you can just contact the Baynet if you have, can I put a request in for cocktails? Just
cocktails. Look, cocktails, local whiskey, local beer, cookies, whatever you got.
Whatever you got,
baked goods. If you got some good food,
we're
like
not
to
going
eat.
to turn it down, right?
Yeah, we're not going to turn it down. But just do us a favor and please don't stand us up. Right?
Yeah. Somebody's bitter.
Hey, I think it's a tremendous opportunity, though.
No, it is.
If this takes off, and who knows, the first week this thing could get a lot of views.
Yeah.
The Baynet, we have 90,000 Facebook followers that follow the Baynet. That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
So, look, who knows how many people are going to see this, and that business that decides to jump on and do a spotlight, they're going to get that exposure.
Yeah.
So, hit us up. You can contact the Baynet. I think it's probably on the screen by now.
I would imagine.
Maybe.
I hope so.
I don't know.
And as quickly as they change things for us.
Exactly.
That was pretty exciting,
so,
honestly.
But either way, thebaynet.com, they're not too hard to find.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess now we can wrap it up.
Is that
right?
now we're going to wrap it up because Mark says we can? Is that where we are now?
Look, if you want to keep going, we can keep going.
I can always keep talking, Mark. Right. I'm not afraid.
Yeah. Well, this was our introductory episode.
Yeah.
This one we kept kind of short because we didn't dive too deep. The next one will probably be a little bit longer. We'll dive into some topics.
Yeah. And on that note, if there's stuff that you want us to talk about too, hit us up. Put it out there, and we'll.
I would love to hear from the audience, like, what does Southern Maryland want to hear?
Yeah.
What does everybody want to know? What do you want us to get real about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there's so many topics that come across us, all the time. And, sometimes it could be just a story that we read on the Baynet, you know what I mean? And
Right.
like maybe it's something we want to talk about that's newsworthy, right?
That's true.
There's
always some crazy stuff on there.
always some crazy stuff going on out there. As long as my name's not in this headline of the story,
Right.
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Good. That's funny.
So,
Good deal, man. Well, I guess we'll see y'all next week, right?
see you next week.
Yeah.